Hi, Nicole here, and today's video is all about the concept board. Now, I have been utilizing a concept board, design packet for my clients for years, and it's taken on a lot of different iterations. But I've been using one consistent format for many years, and I thought I would share how I put one together, when I send it to a client, when we go over it, and why it's so important. Especially being a brand photographer, videographer, and strategist, I'm always looking for ways to communicate my vision to a client. So no matter if you're a photographer, if you are in the creative field and you are trying to communicate your creative vision to a client that might not have a visual sensibility, let's say, that's hard for them to visualize what you are explaining or what you have a vision of, these concept boards have been amazing for my business. So I wanted to touch on a couple things before we jump into building one that I need to for a client. All right, so first thing is, and if you're a brand photographer, as I am creating these concept boards for the client. I have seen other photographers out there say that the client creates boards, whether it's Pinterest boards, the client can search for different poses that they want to do. This is our responsibility. They're just not hiring us for that day to take photos. They're hiring our vision and our creative mind for their photo shoot. It's going to be something different than if they're just hiring a photographer for family photos or for a wedding or for like a one-off type of session. When a business is hiring a brand photographer, we are coming in with the vision. They are so into their business and into their day-to-day. They're hiring us as photographers to take their business messaging and apply it into visuals, and sometimes they don't know what that looks like. So that's why they're leaning on us not only to execute on the vision, but come to the table with some inspiration and ideas. And it's a collaboration. Some clients will be into it more than others, but for timing's sake, this is where I start building out a concept board. We have a discovery call. During that call, I get a good sense of the images that they need. I've already done some preliminary research on their website, on their social media platforms. We've identified gaps. They've expressed the images that they believe they need. I provide my input where I think images would also be powerful. It's a collaboration. We talk about it. Once they are on board, we set up two different dates. One is the photo shoot. The second is the strategy meeting. And I typically do this over Zoom. That is also at least 2 weeks before the photo shoot, just in case they need to order something, make sure everyone is going to be there if they have a large team. If there's any logistics that needs to happen, that's why I like to buffer in some time. This is not something we do like the day before. So when do the concept boards come into play? And in the beginning, after the strategy meeting is when I would create the concept board, email it over, and then we have the photo shoot. But way long ago, that did not seem like it made a good fit. What I've started doing for years now is I create the concept boards. During the strategy meeting, I'm presenting the concept boards, the vision of the photo shoot based off our initial call. And it's also a collaboration. I will ask, are there images that you're really drawn to? Are there images you don't like on here? Now, we're not replicating these images, they're inspiration. Maybe there's something that triggers, oh wait, we have X prop that we could use, and I should research that, or, oh, this would be great if we could utilize this location. It really sparks some creative ideas. And for the clients that have never gone through this process, they are going to be so impressed by you that you have given all this thought to their business and the photo shoot. And this is where you want to take them based on all the information that you have. They're not used to seeing all this, especially if they don't have a marketing department, they don't even have a marketing individual in their organization. You're bringing that to the table. And when they see this presentation, they are always so excited for the photo shoot at the end of it. The other key piece is you're communicating the vision. It's a collaboration. You're going back and forth, but you're building the relationship with the client, which is always so important when you're on photo shoot day, because they're going to be more comfortable and you're going to have better images as a result. Okay, so one, you're creating these concept boards. This is a huge communication tool for you and your client, and you're also building that relationship with them and getting them excited for photo shoot day. Okay, so all the parts and pieces, we have the concept boards, which I am pulling from, say, like Pinterest or another shoot, to get a sense of the different categories of images that we're going to capture. The end, I always have a shoot list and a prop list. So I thought it would be helpful if this is a tool that you would love to use in your business. Down below in the description, I have the template for free. I use Canva. So I wanted to provide that to you if you wanted something just to start with. I've been modifying and using this over the years, that this is really like how I've drilled down like the best way to communicate the vision for the shoot. So go check that out if you want a template to start using. It's there for you. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the computer. I'm going to show you how I'm going through this whole concept board for a client. So now we are in Canva, and I started building out this concept board for this client. Now, I have worked with her in the past, so I am pulling some images from past shoots. I could pull images from other sessions, or I can grab some inspiration images, which I did for this concept board, just so I can walk you through it. Okay, so in the template that I have a link to down below, you'll open this up and you will add in logos, their specifics, the location and shoot information. And what I do in Canva is I always create a folder per client. So I created one for this specific event. And what I'll do is I will drop in their logos. So let me just move this over a little bit. So I will bring in their logos. So then when I'm building it, clients love it when you have that personal touch. And this is what I do. I add in their logos just to make it even nicer. Then from there, once I have all of this set up, now I always print this and bring it on a photo shoot. And it's always a good reference because when I jump in my car, I'm always referring to the address up above. It just keeps it all in one spot and makes it convenient for you and keeps you organized. All right, so the key thing on the first page is you're going to break down your shoot. So I always set it up in different categories so that I know what we're capturing. So it might be portraits first, and then the process of what they make, and then maybe some final products, or a service. And from that category, I create a page for each category. Now I'm just going to show you just as highlight. So we have prep. This is going to be a wedding install for a wedding floral designer. So there's different stages of this installation, which is all the prep work once they get there, really telling the story of what they provide their wedding clients. Then we have the process. Now I've worked with this client before, so we were just kind of pulling some images. We still, like the different angles, like the process, but we need to update them because just with these two pictures here, they've updated logos and shirts, and this is going to be a totally different vibe of a wedding. So, but we just want to show those details capturing the action at this wedding install. So we have details like the flowers and how she works. This is showing that she's organized. So she has an updated like kit, and so we're going to capture those images. Then we get into team. We want to highlight the team that she's working with. It's not just her. She has a whole team assembled to make this very professional. And I grabbed some images from past sessions, but we're going to build on that. And then some final like vignettes of the different flowers and what was created that day. The last page is typically the shoot list and the prop list. So when you're utilizing this template, very easy to make. So I could either add a page and it would be blank, but if you have your logo and any other, if you wanted to add their logo, I typically will just duplicate a page and then I'll run through and I'll delete. You can delete this too. You can do their colors if they have colors that's important to them. But I will have this last page be the shoot list and prop list. So I am making this for my client. The client, if they love Pinterest and they're always in Pinterest and they have a whole thing in there about their dream brand shoot and they want to show you, great. Most of the time that is not the case for the businesses that I'm working with. And although they may have inspiration, other businesses that they can point me to on Instagram if they like a vibe of a place, but most of the time they're too busy to be doing any sort of Pinterest board. And plus you may get, hundreds of images. What are you going to do with that? So this way you have the vision, you're providing this presentation to them to make sure that you are both on the same page. And it's such a great communication tool. And walking through this, again, I mentioned before, you're building that relationship. I'm just not creating this and emailing it in hopes that they open it and say, okay, yeah, everything looks great. That doesn't build on the relationship. This whole experience and strategy meeting really helps. So I'm going to scroll back up to that first section. And once I go through, let's say, Pinterest to pull images, since that's a common area, keep in mind, I have my own Pinterest page. And when I have a client, I create a board if I don't already have one for that type of category. And all these boards are open to you. So you can always access my Pinterest board. I'll bring it up here. I'll put a link down below, and you have access to all the cool images that I have pulled for sessions that you can pull to as well. So I'll leave that there, and you can see how I have different boards for different industries, just general environmental photos, tons in there. So go check that out too. All right, so I have pulled these, and you'll see these in the Floral Designer, and we have prep. So this is when they're really getting all the gear together. Just gonna move this up here. Move this over here. Okay. And I'm actually going to pull in, like, this is the venue. There's a picture on their website. So I just grabbed that just so we have an idea of the vibe of the place. It's going to be pretty amazing. So I'm just going to pull that in. And for prep work, prep and process can overlap a little bit. Like, I want people in these images doing the work, whether they're taking the flowers out of the truck or they're actually installing like arrangements. So I'm going to add these truck pictures. Now, it was very difficult to find a floral vendor's truck image with the logo on the side when I was in Pinterest. So when I capture this image, it's going to be great. But I wanted some reference because I'm not sure what type of truck that she will have, but we talked about details and getting a magnet for the truck that she rents. So I'm just going to drop, because I would love to get some of that prep work and the team working in and around the truck, loading in all the images. Okay, so then we have this. I might duplicate because we have so many images. So I'm just going to duplicate this page. I'm just going to again select all of these and delete these out. I'm going to add in, because this is a fall wedding, and I know some of the details that are happening, and I know there's going to be birch trees because she gave me as much information as a client can give you, the better. So I know there's going to be birch trees involved. So I pulled some of that. And this is, again, more process. I want people working around the table. We're going to talk about team down below. So this, again, could almost overlap for a team shot. I'm just trying to get some fall details. I know there's going to be lanterns involved. Let's see, this is another one. I know there's always ladders involved. Okay. All right, so another part of the process and a part of this shoot that we haven't done before is I'm going to bring my drone. So I'm hoping to capture some great drone shots. This is a great inspiration photo that I could probably pull off with a drone to be like overhead. They may have had some sort of balcony, who knows, to get this shot, but I thought this was a great representation. And although I'm not going to be there when the bride is walking down the aisle, I thought this was a great way to show, because there's going to be an open courtyard outside. They're going to be lining the aisle with, lanterns and pumpkins and floral arrangements. So this could be a cool perspective too. So I wanted to pull that in for that process. Okay, so I just line it up so it looks visually like laid out nicely. For team, there's some team members that we want to highlight. So I thought while they're, in process, but we could also grab a portrait. We can have them, pose, but then we can also have them working among the flowers as well, sort of like what we have here. Again, she has a different logo, so in different time of year, it's going to be a different type of. It's going to maybe be a sweatshirt. So we have some variation. Okay, and then some final vignettes. Let's see. Again, she's working. This might go more to the process. So I'll just click and drag. Bring that up here. This could be something if they have a sign. Again, lanterns. Okay. All right. So that is how keeping it in these categories and having the images support each category makes the presentation that much easier for you when you're on Zoom or talking to a client. You can obviously print these out and meet a client in person, but this helps really get the collaboration and inspiration going. So I know for the prop list, I can just go to the text box, put in another text box here. I want a bullet points. I know we need, for the aprons, we talked about having them monogrammed somehow. And so I will work through all the different props that we talked about. Clearly, she's going to have all the props for her floral arrangement process. So we're going to have all the flowers, all the scissor, all the things. So those are really the two main things that we want to make sure she has. Oh, and then we also talked about for her process. We're always talking about the customer journey with brand photography. She has sketches of some of the setups. So I want her to print off the sketches because that's going to be a great image like over the shoulder. Okay. All right, so then for the shoot list, again, kind of talking about those categories, some people go into great detail like timing. the shoot list and like what shots are going to be made, but or captured. This is something that it's for a wedding install, it'd be very difficult to say, okay, at this specific hour, at this time, we're going to shoot X. So you have to be flexible, go with the flow, and capture what's on the list. And just you can be referring to this list and be checking things off. Okay, so that is a good running list. I'm sure there'll be others that we take in between because when you get there, other things could be happening. That looks great. And this would be the end of the concept board. So I would export this as a PDF. And when it's time for the strategy meeting, I will go in here and I will, on the share button, I would click present. So I'm going to move over here. So here I would click share. I would download, and this is where the option is to, PDF for print. So I would do that, download it, and I would print off a copy for photo shoot day. But during the strategy meeting, I want to share. And under the share button, you have present. So once you click on present, it expands your whole screen for Zoom. If you have issues doing present, you always have the default to just open this up and you could just increase the size a little bit and you could run them through right in Canva. Because if they say, oh, I don't want that picture at all, like that's not the direction I want to go in, you can delete it immediately and that you can show that you're taking action. Or if there's a photo or the prop list grows, you can start typing it in and you can say at the end, okay, I'm going to update this concept board and I will email it over. And they always appreciate that. So again, this is a working document. You don't have to get offended if they don't like something, but I'm pretty on point when I'm doing my presentation that they're always blown away on, oh, wow, I can't believe this is going to be my photo shoot. So that is the concept board. Pretty simple, but very impactful. All right. All right, so hopefully you found that helpful running through the concept boards. I wanted to touch on, in the beginning of this video, I mentioned that in the discovery call, I'm gathering the pieces of what I would need for the concept board. We're understanding images they need, where I see gaps, kind of like the general image categories that they're looking for. But here's a difference also in my business. I do not send out a brand questionnaire once they come on board. That initial discovery call, I'm asking questions and I'm gathering enough information to create the concept boards. And for me, like the businesses I'm working with are so busy and wearing all the hats that they really don't have time to give like a thoughtful outline, description, like all the things that are bogging people down in a questionnaire. I can simply ask them when I have them on the phone. So if you're curious about my process there, then check out this video because I break it all down. I'll see you there.